Okay, we'll do one more here. Oh dear, my book fell. I lost my place. Well, huh. I was going to continue where I left off, and now I can't find it. Well, let me just take something at random. Well, here's a more on the same vein, though. How can individual acts in life enrich us in the afterlife? You ask again. There is not one law for the spirit world and another for the physical. There is one law for both, for both blend and are really one. Simply the one is to our present eyes invisible, and the other visible. Because of the different vibrations or modes of motion, dissolution simply changes the plane of action. We illustrate. To help another with kindly words and suggestion, to give where hunger stalks, brings joy and happiness to giver and beneficiary. Giving of material wealth is no more important than words of encouragement and tender sympathy. The peace and comfort produced by such acts are reflected and enrich us, not only here, but hereafter. Charity enriches the donor more than those to whom it is given. It has been well said that the only wealth one carries into the great beyond is that he gives away here. And it will be remembered that in the next life, where money is no more, the only way one can enrich himself is by helping others. It is well to have a good start by commencing here, for the only genuine happiness we gain now is by helping others to better their condition. We are building character every day, and on the threshold of the afterlife, stripped of all the material wealth, we face the endless future, either rich in generous acts or paupers in a world of plenty. If mankind understood these conditions, there would be more fair dealing, less selfishness, a happier world, a richer world, a better world. And as we go one by one, we should meet the new life with the wealth of generous acts and thoughts and deeds. Thoughts are things, and every act and thought functions around and about us in that substance called ether, sometimes called the aura. That substance, woven of the warp and woof of an act and thought, envelop us now and ever will, invisible to us now, but ever visible to all in the life that follows. With this in mind, let us pause for a moment and seriously consider what kind of an etheric garment we are weaving day by day, and how our spirits will appear as we approach the frontiers of the afterlife. Will we go with consciousness of a life well spent, rich with generous acts and kindly deeds, and radiant with the soul's emanations, meet the outstretched hands and proudly reply to the words and songs of welcome? Or shall we approach this goal with souls shriveled by selfishness, lust and greed, from which no light of generous acts pierces the gloom? I've talked with many who have gone out into the darkness of their own creation, poor and alone, and long have they sought for the light that ultimately comes to all that live. I can't help but think in church services today and sermons given by preachers, I know they speak to some extent in this sort of a vein, but they don't really make the connection. It's more, between that we're creating here and now, every moment of our lives, our future, both here and hereafter. But they more or less talk about being saved and having eternal life and all that, and asking forgiveness and believing on Jesus and all of that. And which is not fair to the Jews and the Muslims and the Buddhists, because to intimate to them that that's the way they have to go too is totally unfair. And it's not the way they have to go. Obviously, the good Christian's not going to go to a good place if he just believes something but doesn't live the life as Jesus taught. So again, no matter what beliefs we might hold, it all comes secondary to our acts. It's more and more it becomes obvious that that's a fact, and there's no escaping it. As much as they'd like to, keep preaching about, you got to believe this and you got to believe that. It just totally, they've gone in the wrong direction, totally. They need to speak more about, being kind in our daily, you meet a salesperson in a store and, you speak sharply to them because you're impatient and treat them like dirt, and those things are going to go against us. And that's just little things, nothing to do with stealing or robbing or killing or any of that stuff, which is obviously put you in a much darker place in the afterlife. But just everyday acts of kindness, consideration in traffic when you're driving, signaling when you're going to change lanes, and little things, as I said, one of my pet peeves there. Anyway, enough said. So I hope you enjoyed this little segment. And this is a marvelous book. I hope you can find a copy. I don't know. I'm sure it's long out of print. But I'll read more of it too. I've got so much more to read and many more recordings and everything else. Okay. Good night.